Oh, it's an exciting day for baseball fans, in particular Canadian baseball fans and fans of the Blue Jays. They kick off their season, not only a season opener, home opener versus the Texas Rangers tonight. And here to tell us more about it, we are joined by Shi Davidi from Sportsnet. Shi, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking time with us. Let's just start off with the off-season acquisitions, some additions that a lot of people are excited about. Who are you most excited to see this season as far as the additions go?
Well, Kevin Gausman is a lot of fun to watch pitch. And, for those people who aren't familiar with him, he's a fastball split finger pitch guy. And that split finger pitch is an absolutely mesmerizing offering. It's really intriguing to watch, generates a lot of really awkward swings. I think that'll be fun. But also Matt Chapman. And, the Blue Jays acquired him during spring training, and he's one of the best defenders at third base. If you like to see athletic defenders play, you're not going to do much better than Matt Chapman. And, he's got a chance to be really impactful for this ball club on the hot corner.
The AL East, this is a tough place for any team to find themselves in. How do you think the Jays stack up in the AL East?
Well, a lot of the objective projections at this point really suggest that the Jays are the team to beat in the American League East. And, I think that they're right there. You never sleep on the Tampa Bay Rays and their creativity, and they always seem to manufacture some guys who can be really effective for them. The New York Yankees have a very deep and talented roster too. So I think there are quite a few teams that are going to pose a threat. The Red Sox aren't going to simply go away and disappear. But I think the Blue Jays have a lot of big league depth. They have, all the sort of sexy stuff. They've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr., they got Bo Bichette, Teoscar Hernandez, Matt Chapman, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., they've got George Springer, of course. They've got just so much depth, but they also have some talent on their 40-man roster that can come in and do a reasonable job if they do suffer some injuries, and that might be a little bit of a differentiator between the Blue Jays and some of the other clubs.
Throughout spring training, Shi, did anyone stand out that, that kind of surprised you? You mentioned, some of those greats, of course, talented young players, but did anyone surprise you so far in spring training that, we should be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I generally don't read too much into what we see during spring training, right?
Yeah.
It is sort of fool's gold, and guys have different parts in their process. I think if you're with the Blue Jays, I think you're looking at someone like an Alek Manoah and knowing that he continued to make the type of progress that you wanted to see from him. That's pretty important. I think if you're sort of casting down into the future, you look at the performance of Orelvis Martinez, one of their top prospects, and you feel pretty good about his chances of being an impactful player down the road. Certainly, you don't want to rule out the fact that he might be a factor this season, but someone who's going to be able to help this team in the bigger picture. Beyond that, it was a really bizarre spring training, a shortened spring training because of, the lockout and not having the regular amount of games, the regular amount of runway. So I think it's dangerous to read too much into what we saw.
Do you see any weaknesses on this team? I think, some of the natural ones we probably look at are the bullpen, perhaps, heavy right-handed hitting. What are some of the weaknesses that you could see that they need to perhaps improve on as the season goes on?
Yeah, I don't know if that it's necessarily a weakness. It's just a less than ideal situation when you're so right-handed dominant, right? And you don't have the ability to really put some questions into the opposing team's strategy late in games in terms of which relievers they want to use. So that from a setup standpoint isn't optimal, but you'd rather have the quality of right-handed hitters that the Blue Jays possess than, a less talented left-handed batter. So is that a weakness? I don't know if weakness is the right word. Maybe potential vulnerability might be a better way to describe it. And the bullpen has some nice depth, but again, you don't know. If Julian Merriweather is healthy and Nate Pearson, who's not going to break camp with the team, if he can get back and be a factor, those are two legitimate potential impact weapons out of the bullpen that can dynamically change the trajectory of that pen. But I do think that as things sit right now, there's no part of that roster you look at and say, this is extremely problematic. But there are always opportunities to get a little bit better.
The way we cover sports and the way, of course, we've covered baseball has changed dramatically over recent years. Any changes at Sportsnet, Shi, the way that you guys are going to cover any new plans?
I think we're going to generally just try to find bits of information that will illuminate fans. And, I think in terms of our storytelling, we may experiment with some different things here and there. But for the most part, we're going to just continue to dig and continue to try and give our audience a better understanding of, why things are happening, how they're happening, and, what are some of the factors that are contributing to what they're seeing play out on the field.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Shi, I really appreciate you spending time with us today. Enjoy the season. It's going to be an exciting one. I'm sure we'll catch up with you a little bit later on in the season as well.
Yeah, my pleasure. Always a great time of the year.
All right, take care. That's Shi Davidi from Sportsnet. Just a reminder, tonight, 7 p.m., it is the Jays versus the Texas Rangers. Kick off the home opener, the season opener. It's the beautiful game of baseball. We'll be back with more Daytime right after this.